Scourge, a personal thing that brings great trouble and suffering. I did look it up. I thought it was Scourge when it was first released. This came out in 2020, and I do own quite a few indie roguelikes. I wanted to make the point that I think the indie roguelike scene may have saved gaming for me, particularly local co-op gaming. We'll get into that later, because it's such a great genre to explore with someone else, and these games always kick out different experiences, and they're tiny. It's a really great combination, and I go to them all the time against AAA new releases. You'll be very surprised at how many hours I put into these things against brand new games. I'm CouchCube, by the way, and this is my review of this excellent game after 20 hours of playing it and being stuck in the first biome, in the first level. I only just did that boss and got to the second stage. I'll show it all to you in a second, but let's discuss and look at this beautiful game. Really great art, amazing pixel art. I love the look of it, the sound of it. It's also got like a Doom-like heavy metal soundtrack. There's nothing really wrong with this game on a roguelike level other than its relentless difficulty, but that comes with the territory. ScourgeBringer exists very much on a 2D playing field. If you look in the top right, you can see that classic exploration map, which it constantly re-rolls and scores you against how many rooms you've actually visited. Now, with this particular game, there's a sub-boss that you have to get past to open the window to the main boss. So you've almost got a two-stage system to get to the next level. It's got an extremely natural feeling and positioned dash on R1 that's very liberating. You can get anywhere on the screen. You don't have a stamina, so you can sort of spam it. And it also has a projectile weapon that you can lean on, and that's the ammo over on the far left there. It's really great because you can sort of see these things in your peripheral vision. You also have a few specials and some slots for upgrades. This game is all about getting beefy, getting tough before going to the boss, and you are at its mercy when it comes to drops and RNG. You can't basically choose a build, but you have options to go in that direction via the vendor. So this is not like Moonscars where you only have like 3 directions to go in. This game will drop you some really crazy stuff. You might get the clip size massively increased for your gun. You might even get power increases for your sword/whip. Pun intended. Now, against all of this madness that's going on, you have a parry, you have a rebound swing on the Y or triangle button. What this means is you can send the bullets back to the enemies. It's something that I grasped sort of later. All I was worrying about was avoiding, but that makes loads of work because sending the bullets back to the enemies damages them massively. You can also instigate a stun from it, so it's a whole nother layer of meta gameplay alongside this lunacy that you can do with the dashing and jumping around. I should have mentioned at the start, this game is available on every single major platform, including the Switch. It's not on Game Pass, unfortunately. It is on Steam, and I've noticed it on the PlayStation Network. Runs impeccably just about on all of the aforementioned. I would like some feedback if you've tried this on the Switch. Its graphical fidelity doesn't point in the sort of heavy CPU direction, so I imagine it's totally fine. This was a little bit like the Returnal situation with me, where that RNG, that tiling system and that randomization is so healthy that going through this game on level 1 countless times is just totally doable, because it throws so much variety at you and the drops can be very dramatic. And of course, it does tend to switch out some of those mini-boss enemies so that you always have something different when you go up against the final guy. You also don't have to earn fast travel. You can just hit select, a bit like Enter the Gungeon, and hop off anywhere around this map as long as it's explored. This is super handy, and I didn't spot it at first. If you look at the top of the screen here, there's 2 platforms. They've got spikes on them. If you stand on those for less than a nanosecond, you lose one of your precious AF chunks of health. So maneuvering around these empty squares is a big no-no because you will get spiked. The soundtrack, I think you'll agree, is completely applicable and marries up perfectly with this hectic gameplay. It sort of puts you in an almost trance-like state, and once the muscle memory kicks in with the R1 dodge and the rebound on triangle, you feel almost invincible till you stand on a platform that's got spikes on it. But I think therein lies one of the game's traps, a little bit like Dark Souls. As soon as you relax, as soon as you stop respecting the game, it will just kick your ass. If you take your eye off the ball for a couple of seconds, you can lose half your health, and going for the boss in that sort of state is just not doable. Its economy is pretty intricate as well, giving you sort of 2 tiers of currency, and there's blood rewards. You can see that 600 figure over there on the far right. And then I've got those points to spend on leveling when I get to the tree out of level. So it's all about increasing your powers, giving yourself more perks to take a better run at those bosses. And they're permanent perks. It's really interesting how they differentiate the gameplay, because there's a move that allows you to pause the screen and sort of do a 0 katana slash on everything. It can win a boss battle for you. It can save your life. So opening those perks are very important. There's one other roguelike that stands out as being as difficult as this, and it has been Heroes. I don't know if you've seen or played that game. It's like a columns-based roguelike that's incredibly tough. I had that over on the Switch. Well, that might be a Switch exclusive, but no, multi-platform. So if you're into punishment and you've finished this, I don't know how you've managed that, try that one out, because you'll definitely start crying after about 15 minutes. Another reason I sort of gravitate towards indie roguelikes is because they rarely shove story down your neck. They just want white knuckle gameplay, awesome rewarded progression, and amazing boss fights in succession. This is like the brief, and most of them follow up on it. In preparation to make this video, I've been playing this game heavily recently to desperately try and get past the first biome, level 1, so to speak. And it was only yesterday, Patreons will be aware, that I managed to break through that wall. It was pretty amazing. I'll talk you through how I did it, and it wasn't really the most honest route to defeating that boss. Staying calm with this game is super important, and not getting sort of bogged down with trying to get up close. It's all about using that parry mechanic and sending the bullets back to the enemy. But when you're dashing and slashing, it's kind of the last thing on your brain. You just want to avoid the shots and get the damage in. But it's a very different tactic if you've got your head round that send the bullets back system. Right, let me show you how this was actually done. Over on the left, you can see I am perked up to the eyeballs. Look at the amount of bullets that I'm actually carrying, and I can't even get that power up on the ground, which has got to be a first. So I'm both psychologically and physically ready to take on this boss. Now what happens is, and you guys may have the same thing, I did a bit of mental maths where I'm like, the longer I'm in this arena, the more chances there are of me getting hit by one of those damn bullets, but my DPS is enough that I can just take the fight to him and get the damn job done, and that's exactly what happened. I felt a little bit bad, it was a little bit of a cheat, but it was within the realms of the game's rules, and by God, 2020 was a long time ago. So here's your reward for getting to 9 minutes. This is level 2. Is there a fast travel from the tree straight to this level? Not that I'm aware of. I'm sure I'll figure it all out, but whoa, it means I've got to go through that ordeal again to even see this section. New enemies, new attack patterns, new aesthetic. The game's just had a new lease of life breathed into it as far as I'm concerned. And can you let me know what level you're on with this game? I know a few of you may have made the purchase from the Patreon updates. I put 16 of these games, all of which are local co-op on one singular list. I will put the link and annotation in. I recommend having a look at that. I was, of course, ScourgeBringer. I'm currently playing Far Cry 6. What the hell is that game all about? I will, of course, see all you roguelike lovers down there.